All right, folks, we're happy to have you with us. Welcome to our international podcast, Below the Belt. We're following the latest out of the national tragedy, the Mahdia Secondary School, the female dormitory, was an inferno late last evening into this morning, into the early hours of this morning. And folks, we want to bring you the latest on that front without delay, of course. Good to see each and every one of you who have joined us today. We see you there, Don Anderson and Diane Fordyce, Rami Leander, Margaret Nelson, Rose Capel. We see you folks. Bella Mona, Rhonda Lane is on the live as well. Caleb Adams is here, and all the other folks joining us. Folks, we heard from uh, regional representative of the coalition, Mr. Daniel Fraser, earlier, and we want to share some of that with you. Some of what he said, being on the ground there, some of what Mr. Daniel Fraser said. The leader of the opposition spoke on our morning program, FYI. Leader of the opposition, leader of the People's National Congress Reform, Mr. Aubrey Norton, he spoke on our morning program for your information, FYI. We're going to bring you that as well. And some additional information we are tracking down this morning. A lot of concerns there, folks. Those students come from several hinterland locations, and the parents are angry. We saw some parents protesting already, you see, and a number of shortcomings may have led to this inferno. A number of shortcomings. You know, over the weekend, we are still dealing with that other major national issue, the escape of Royden Williams, Smalley, from the Mazruni prison. We are still following that. And we saw over the weekend the administration said major breach in security protocol led to Smalley's escape. That was attributed to Minister of Public Security, Robeson Ben. Major breach in security protocols. That's 2 days ago, folks. What has happened here? What has happened at the Mahdia Secondary School? What has happened there? What breaches occurred there? Several concerns. Folks, without delay, share the live, smash that emoji button, wherever you're joining us from. Without delay, folks. Without delay, I want you to hear from Mr. Daniel Fraser, some of what he said. His take. He was on the ground there. Witnessed most of it. We want to bring that to you. Take a look and take a listen to what Mr. Daniel Fraser said. Take a look and take a listen.
Hi, good morning. Last night I witnessed, along with hundreds of other Mahdians, first-hand horror. I saw a building inferno. gutted, while secondary school students, girls, were grilled inside, struggling to get out. I saw,
All right, folks, we want to get that. We want to get that queued up properly. Apologies there. We want to get that queued up properly. We're going to take it back. Bear this for a quick sec. We're going to take it back from the top. Give us a quick sec, folks, and we're going to take that from the top. Again, folks, we give you the coalition's one of the coalition's representative in Region 8, and in particular Mahdia, Mr. Daniel Fraser.
hi, good morning. Last night I witnessed, along with hundreds of other Madians, first-hand horror. I saw a building in Forno, gutted, while secondary school students, girls, were grilled inside, struggling to get out. I saw I saw bodies piled up by the back grilled door. I saw holes in the concrete structure as the firefighters made efforts to rescue some of those girls. I was petrified. I don't even I couldn't even go back home. I couldn't sleep. Eyewitnesses who were there long before me, they said that there were there were screams of agony and anguish. I saw people crying, holding their heads as the fire raged, destroying the remains of life and future. As a parent, I, I was eaten up inside. I was torn up inside. To think that our brothers and sisters from across the mountain who has sent their children to seek formal education at the secondary level would be receiving news of the death of their children, locked up in buildings to secure the reputation of I, I I'm at a loss. I'm peeved. I'm angry. If private parents had locked up their children and went out and the house caught a fire, you know what the authorities would have done to them, what they do to people like that. And then here we have the authorities. And I understand that the dorms, the female dorms and the male dorms are overcrowded. I saw hammock in areas where the fire didn't scorch, and I saw bulks in those hammocks, suggesting to me that either they are clothes or bags, but it's night, and I want to suspect it was somebody's child. There are a few things that we have to take into consideration. This is an election period, and the government has been concentrating. I mean, they have had 3 years, they have had years to look into this thing. There's a fire station on the Potaro Road at 111 miles that was built some years ago. I think it was built by the former government, APNO AFC government. The fire station in Potaro Road, and it has employed a lot of young people from Mahdia. And then there's a place not far from Congress House called Danju Hill, where there's about 11 houses. It was more three families in that area that dominated that hill. But then recently, a political activist and a candidate for the local government election, who is also a defunct, I should say, regional councillor for Region 8 and a businessman, bought a piece of land up there. And the Honorable Bishop Juan Edgel came up, and I don't know what influenced his decision, but he spent over $20 million building a concrete road 8 inches by probably 20 feet, 8 inches thick by 20 feet wide, somewhere around there. I might be wrong, but I'm quite certain that over 20 or $30 million was spent for the construction of that road. And I'm quite certain that if the Honorable Bishop had gone to the town council that the people elected, that they would have told him building the Potaro Road from the fire station to Wrong Turn here was a better option, because the majority, this road runs through Mahdia. And you have over 400 persons flying that route almost every day. People divert from the road because it is bad, and they drive up Republic Avenue and come down the road here at Wrong Turn to cut out that bad road. But every day, the fire service, the fire station, the truck, the fire tender have to drive through all of those craters to fetch water. And in this case, the fire is the dorms is through 7 miles by Republic Avenue. The fire service, the fire station is close to Republic Avenue, but not far from the fire service, the fire station, there's a creek. But the road is very, very bad. So the fire tender has to drive all the way up Republic Avenue, come down the road, and then go a good way off to get water, and then travel back there and go into the dorms compound there's a huge hole there. Tonight, people said the fire service, the truck would turn over, but the skilled driving of the fire officer made it possible. Why is it that the Minister of Marine Affairs, who visits this community every single week to undermine the municipality, to undermine the mayor and town council, she visits without informing of her presence? She's not a person of protocol or ethics. Every weekend, the minister is up here. Every weekend, she's seen in the club, at the slots, gambling. Her children, her responsibility. Amerindian children from across the North Pacarimas are housed in the dorms. Those children died tonight. Those children died tonight. And I'm wondering, what will be her excuse? Why are those children grilled up? Priya, what is your excuse? They recently gave out 4 contracts for in excess of $4.5 million each to candidates for local government elections. They give out contracts to those persons without informing the municipality, without seeking guidance from the municipality. They just give them out. But let me tell you something. By the dorms, there is a 2-inch pipe that the fire service could not put a hydrant on because it's 2 inches when it's supposed to be 4 or 6 inches. And I'll tell you what, I got a whisper that last year that was brought to the attention of the authorities that the pipes were too small, and in case there's a fire at the dorms, the pipe would have been inadequate to supply water to fight the fire. But was that important to the minister? Ha! Was that important? No, it wasn't. Because why? Her concentration was undermining the authority of the people, the people's representative, which is the mayor and town council. And she keep walking around the place with this young man, telling people that this is going to be the new mayor. She keeps visiting without telling the local authority that she's coming or that her presence is there. She insults the people of Mahdia. All of the ministers do that. They give them bad advice. At one stage, a minister came here because the police were doing their work, closing down these pubs by 2 o'clock. The minister came and said the police don't have the authority. The police had to educate the persons based on the law to show that the minister was giving them wrong advice, was misinforming them, or was disinforming them. Now, you might ask me what all of this has to do with the fire. It have everything to do with the fire. All. Because when a township is established, the status, this place was a landing. It was the hub, a commercial hub for all the back dams. And it was so for many, many years. This place was discovered in 1884 or somewhere around there. But in 2018, they gained the status of a town, much to the dislike of the PPP. The dorms were there for quite some time. We have wells being drilled all over the place. The present government is also getting involved because those wells were drilled before. And they allow a pipe, a 2-inch pipe, to run to supply hundreds of children at the dorms. A hydrant can't go on a 2-inch pipe. It made it difficult for the fire service. The fire truck, the fire tender can't ply the road that is closest to water because the road is banned, because the government thought or thinks that building a road to the young man's house lot that he bought on Danju Hill is more important than those children in the dorms. Local authority prioritize based on the need of the community. So when the big bullies come in and want to show that they control the oil money and they can do what they want, paying out monies to persons, $140,000 for membership per year, giving out $30,000, employing community service officers that was designed for Amerindian villages, employing those persons in the township, giving out buses and tractor trailer to people within the township, not to the municipality who needs it to earn revenue, to develop the community. Neglecting to give the village, the municipality royalties for all this gold coming out of Mahdia. That's a lot of gold coming out of Mahdia, and they only give the municipality $18 million a year. And for your information, this is the 5th month, and they haven't given the municipality a single cent in subvention. This is what this wicked PPP government is doing to these people. It's doing to us here in Mahdia. And then they're coming asking people to vote for them. How imbecilic. That's so stupid. because they think that the people in Mahdia are nothing. Judge this for yourself. Today, we suffer great disaster and loss because the government is cockeyed and one-sided, meaning no offense to persons, but because the government is not listening to the people and deciding what they want to do, spending money all over Mahdia and not in the right areas. Aye, that's killing our children. That's killing our children through negligence. My heart bleeds for the parents. I'm a father, I'm a parent, and I can understand what the parents are going to go through when they hear of this sad affair. Some of them are sleeping soundly, thinking that everything is right with their children. They've placed their children in the hands of the government, the PPP government, and they think that everything is going to be okay. This is what the PPP is doing to the people. I can't go home and sleep. I'm very peeved. I'm very, very peeved. I'm very bitter. I'm very angry. But until the next time, I'll keep you posted. Thank you very much.
Okay. The situation, as you rightfully said, the current debt figure is 20. Like you said, that can increase. We don't know as yet because there are injured persons in Georgetown. So the last figure we got is 20 dead. All right. Currently on the ground, we have the Prime Minister is here along with 2 other ministers. And our information is that the President should be here by midday. And this visit here is to address the parents and the kids who were involved in the fire. All right. The fire started around 10 to 11 or so. I got there about an hour after because I was only informed at that time. And when I got there, the entire building was already engulfed. All right. The fire tender, we have 1 fire tender here in Mahdia, just 1. And that, as you can imagine, was not enough. It was unable to extinguish a fire on its own. The problem is that there is no water mains or fire hydrants in the area where the dorms is located. All right. So they had to be shuttling water with the fire tender in order to extinguish the fire. And that took some time. All right. So it was difficult for them to extinguish the fire as they should. Good. The other thing too, the building was grilled up. Doors and windows were grilled up. And apparently, the confusion that ensued after the fire took place, right, caused these children, the majority of the children, to be trapped in that building. Good? So that is what I will leave it there for now. And I think the deputy would like to also add some things that she knew took place.
Go right ahead, Deputy Mayor Joel.
Yes, sure. Thank you. I received a call at 11:15 from the previous chairman, Mr. Bonaventure, and he asked me if I have any knowledge of a fire at the Derms. I said to him no, and he said he got a call from somebody in that vicinity, claims there's a fire at the Derms. Immediately, I came off the phone from speaking with him. I called the officer in charge here for the fire service. That would be Mr. Ryan Scott. And he replied, he answered the phone and he said to me that he just got, somebody just came there and with a vehicle to tell him that there's a fire. And that is around 11:20 something, around 11:23 or so. So with that, in my opinion, I think that probably the fire just started. I have some relative living just behind the dorms, my niece and her mom. So I made a call to her and she indicated to me that, Auntie, I'm heading towards the front. I'm seeing some smoke a lot of smoke. And then she said, oh my God, there is fire. And I said to her, okay, just go and see what's happening. She said, okay. I call her back while I'm dressing, getting some clothes on. And the same time I heard the fire reel heading up because they're living in the same area where I'm living, heading up to the hill where the dorms area. And I called her back. I said, the fire reel is coming there. And she said, oh my God, Auntie, but while I'm dressing, I can hear the squeal of kids. And I said, you know what? Probably they're just trying the confusion. They're just trying to get this stuff out and they just keep it instead of noise. And she said, no, Auntie, these children are locked in this place. They can't get out. She said, and we're trying to get them out right now. I said, okay, I'm coming. I head down to that area. And when I reach that area, like the mayor said, the building was almost engulfed. They have on the left-hand side of that building, they have two rooms there, of which, like I said, the grill was on the doors and the windows. The guys around, the minors, my nephews and my brothers, they took a plank and they start to break the walls of the dorms to get those girls out. And as they break the walls, they get to pull out a couple of them. As the girls come out, they were like fireballs, their head, their backs, everything with fire. And these boys pulling them out and get them into the police vehicles, into the ambulance. I have my vehicle there. My vehicle took some of them. And that is how they get to rescue those girls that was at the hospital. They had to break the concrete wall to get in there. And while that was done, the last person that was rescued, she was shot. A bed was on her. They got the guys running and they themselves that risk their lives to get the bed off of her and pull her out, and they get them on the vehicle. But while we were standing there when they got those guys going to the hospital, we can literally see the other kids in that building burning. It is sad. It is sad. It's not something that no human being would like to witness.
You guys are familiar with this area. Maybe as an estimate, how many students, how many girls are housed in the dormitory?
Okay, I can give you that figure. The roll call last evening for the girls in the dorms was 60. 60.
And we've lost at
Right.
least, yeah.
Yeah, they give me, the police commander give me, just now, hold on.
Do you also have a
The
sense?
last one was 60,
Mhm.
all right, that they had given me, and they had counted for 44 when I got there. They could have come for 44 of those 60.
And,
all right.
And the 20 deceased were among those 44?
No.
Only 12 was accounted for.
Only 12.
Oh,
was
12 were
unaccounted.
Uh-huh.
Well, no, of the 60, 44 were accounted for.
Mhm.
All right. 12 were unaccounted for. They were in the building burning. And 4 were confirmed dead. All right. When I got there. You understand?
Could you guys give us a sense, maybe as much as you know, why the building might have been locked in this manner? Is that a norm?
Well, I visited the dorms on more than one occasion. At one occasion, I visited because the dorm's father asked me to make some intervention for him to the Mahdia power and light, because there were some electrical wires that were very low in the yard. The dorms usually had, at the windows, they usually had mesh, defined mesh, and then they would put boards, because what the kids usually do is kick out those mesh. And they put boards just to barricade from them kicking the mesh. It was new to me when I went there last night to see those sturdy grills on the windows. And mind you, the mesh used to be only on the windows. The doors used to be free. They hadn't no grills on those doors. So it was a surprise to me when I appear at the dorm site last night that the doors, the windows and doors, the grill, and besides that not being grilled, it was locked. It was locked. So my first question was, if you're going to grill the windows and the doors, where is the emergency? Where when you have emergency, does these kids go? And if you look in the photograph, when they find the bodies, everybody was at the back door. They're running to get out. And then it is alleged that the keys was another situation to get the keys to actually open the doors.
What have you learned on that front?
Pardon me?
What have you learned on that front in terms of trying to get the keys?
The keys, it was said that the keys to open the grill doors, the dorm's father or mother couldn't find those keys. I don't know if it's because of the confusion. I don't know what it was, but they couldn't find those keys. And it has proven that it's got to be the fact, because even to when the building burning and these guys running and the building burning and those doors, the doors that are grilled stand firm till now. Even the fire service, that's a question they're asking. Mind you, they're having a grill, but why is it that it's locked? And these kids are locked in like prisoners.
Yeah.
There was nowhere they can get out. The guys, like I said, broke the concrete and they pull out who they can pull out.
For the folks who are now joining us, we are joined by the mayor of Mahdia. This is where this tragedy has unfolded, Region 8, Mayor David Adams, and we have the deputy mayor as well, Joanne Burrows, with us, giving us an update. Mr. Mayor, I may have missed it somewhere in the fog of information this morning, but do we have any sense from the fire service and the ground day police and so on, what may have started this fire?
No. That is still to be determined.
Still to be determined.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor and Deputy as well, you mentioned as you were giving us the update, there was one fire tender on the ground there. Is that a norm? Has that been the modus operandi?
Well, since the establishment of the fire department up here, all right, there has been one fire tender. Whether there are plans to have more fire tender assigned to the area, I don't know. But there's one fire tender with its component of fire servicemen.
And how many fire servicemen do you estimate are on the ground there?
They have about 9 or 10. They have enough fire servicemen to attend to that particular fire tender.
And
the strength is up to speed.
Could you give us a sense also in terms of the size of the building that we're talking about, the girls' dormitory there?
It's about 40 feet by 100 feet. Flat concrete building.
Have you had a chance thus far to talk with some of the parents maybe of these students? What is happening on the ground currently in Mahdia as regards this tragic fire?
All right. Currently, like I said, there's a delegation of ministers in Mahdia. I accompanied them to the hospital when they arrived. The Prime Minister, I know, had a chat. The Prime Minister and the Minister of Education had a chat with those parents who were there. Okay. They visited the injured in the hospital, and then subsequently they left for the secondary school area. Right? I left them in order to be on this Zoom meeting with you. So the situation now is that I think they're preparing for the arrival of the president. And he has asked that all parents from the other sub-region, mind you, these kids are not kids who reside in Mahdia proper. They're children that were brought to school here and are housed in the dorms, and they came from sub-region 1, which is Chinopao and these other places, and Kupinang and these other places outside of this sub-region, and from a place you call Maikobi, which is within this sub-region. All right? And they're housed there. So he has made arrangements, I understand, for those parents to be shuttled across, so he can address them when he arrives here this midday. And perhaps to console and give them what assurances the government has for them. All right. So that's the current situation on the ground right now.
In
The
terms
dead,
of what, go
the
ahead.
dead, the dead, they're in the mortuary. I understand that there's to make arrangement to have them because it's a very small mortuary. I think there's arrangements to be made to have them taken to Georgetown.
Okay.
That's the
What is
current
it?
situation.
What is happening in terms of the hospital? I'm trying to get a sense and for the viewers to what exactly is happening on the ground.
Okay.
Is the hospital capable, for instance, with the kind of injuries coming out of the hospital, coming out of the this horrific fire?
I will say they tried their best. It's the first time such a situation has arisen for the staff. And from my observation, I think they tried their best. All right.
All right, all right,
They were attended. They were attended to. The injured were given their preliminary examination and bandages and so on, and transported to the airport to be transported to Georgetown. My observation is they tried their best. They, of course, the use of oxygen. They had to they had to purchase some oxygen. You know, of course, the use of oxygen is important. So I think they acquired that from a gas station just nearby. So they cope.
all right. All right. Mr. Mayor and Deputy Mayor, I want to thank you guys for stopping by. Folks, we have been talking, as you heard there, with the Mayor and Deputy Mayor of Region 8, well, Mahdia in particular, the township of Mahdia. And this is David Adams and Joanne Burrows, respectfully. I want to thank both of you for stopping by and giving us this update.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having us, Sherrod.
Additionally, folks, we also had a chance to talk with the leader of the opposition, leader of the People's National Congress Reform, on this very issue on our earlier program. And we just wanted to bring you some of what he would have said as it pertains to this fire. We just want to bring you some of what the leader of the opposition would have said as it concerns this fire at the Mahdia Secondary School, the girls, the female dormitory there. Here's some of what the leader of the opposition said in our earlier broadcast.
He wishes to express our condolences to the families, friends, Madian communities, as we mourn the loss of lives of our children, and to state that we are deeply saddened by the loss of lives. We wish all those that are injured a speedy recovery and express our support and gratitude to the medical, in the joint services, and others who are engaged in the process of treating the injured, helping them, and we hope that there are no more fatalities. We also wish to express gratitude to the people of Mahdia who worked assiduously to rescue the children trapped in the Mahdia Secondary School. Our gratitude also to the Mayor and Deputy Mayor of Mahdia for their compassion and positive involvement in helping to give leadership during these trying times. We continue to keep the situation under review and will make a full statement at a later time as we demand a thorough investigation into this horrific incident that has resulted in the loss of innocent young lives. That statement we will issue shortly. This incident is indeed horrific. We believe that the Education Ministry, which has safe protocols for children in school, we believe that the Public Works Ministry, which is responsible for the building code, etc., the Ministry of Health, that is responsible for having supplies, medical supplies, etc., all of them will come under scrutiny. And at the right time, we will ask the appropriate questions, because we believe in the final analysis, there must be accountability for what happened here. It is our young, innocent children who believe that as a government, as a state, they were in good hands, and therefore we will ask the appropriate questions. We know for a fact that people are mourning today, and so I'm not inclined to get into the deep political and other questions that need to be asked. Today, I'm hoping that we all can be in solidarity with each other. I'm hoping that there are no more deaths, and I'm hoping that all can work together to ensure that the community of Mahdia is supported, the communities in the sub-region that they're from are supported, and that we work together to ensure that nothing like this happens again. She wishes to express our condolences to the families.
That's just some of what we're following on that front. That was the leader of the opposition, leader of the PNCR, with a statement in our earlier program as it concerns this deadly fire at the Mahdia Secondary School, the girls' dormitory. 20 young lives have perished in that fire. And as we told you early on, the parents of those children, they're asking for justice. We're asking for justice. They're telling us that one of the, I want to make sure I capture it correctly, one of the equipment, firefighting equipment, was just sent last week from Mahdia to Letem because there's a celebration coming up there. And that browser, they call it, which can hold 200 and I think 2,500 gallons of water, and that was one of the things that we noted. Demaro Waves put out a whole article on this, that firefighters were faced a crippling water shortage in trying to combat this blaze. All that you heard out of the Deputy Mayor Joanne and um, the mayor there, all of you heard out of Mr. Daniel Fraser. In addition to that, crippling water shortage being noted by Demwara Waves as one of the issues, and they're telling us that this browser, which carries 2,500 gallons of water, was just last Wednesday sent to Letem to assist with preparations for the National Independence Flag raising ceremony there. Yep, that is some of what we are picking up information. And so a lot to be accounted for, folks. A lot to be accounted for, a lot to be accounted for. And, one of the interesting things, again, that we saw with those parents who are protesting, one of the things we saw is do we have it? This signage that says, grills and windows and doors are for prisoners. And we saw Royden Williams, Smalley, he just left Mazaruni on Friday. He just left Mazaruni on Friday with little to no resistance. And here are our innocent children trapped in a burning building. 20 of them lost their lives. 20 of them lost their lives. I saw a young woman on Twitter who is from this region. She's from this region. And one of the things I noted, she has said that whatever the reason for the fire, someone has to be held accountable. Someone or some group of persons have to be held accountable. 20 young people can't just lose their lives and we just go on. Is that the country we live in? Is that the country we live in? 20 young people just lost their lives. And life just goes on. Life just goes on like that. We'd find something wrong with that. We'd find something very, very wrong with that. And so, again, that was one of the observations coming out from a resident of that area, a resident of the hinterland. Whatever the reason for the fire, folks got to be held accountable. And we wanted to show you that all of the major news networks internationally have picked up on this story. It's not about gold and how much in the treasury and the transformational development. All of the major news networks, CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera, The Guardian in UK, Reuters, CBS News, are carrying the story. And folks have got to be held accountable. You see, we gotta hold people accountable. So the children like prisoners, and the prisoners walking around free. The prisoners walking around free, and I see one of our ardent listeners, Sandra Hanover, says it can't be business as usual. Carolyn Halley says she heard it on the news in Florida. It's in all the major international news networks. It cannot be business. And you know what? We have taken it too easy with the PPP. We have gone too easy. This is the 6th school fire under the People's Progressive Party in 3 years. In 3 years. And then getting it right. They are not getting it right. It's about time we fire the Minister of Education, man. It's about time. It cannot just be business as usual. This is the sixth fire. And I want us to try to pull up that graphic so you can see all the names of those schools. Now, this is very serious business. This is very, very, very serious business. Again, this is the 6th school in 3 years. The last being the Christchurch Secondary School. And we ain't getting better. All the major news networks, as I said, carrying this as a major story right now. It's not the goal and all this kind of stuff we've been trying to sell. It's not all that stuff. The diamond and the bauxite and all these transformational things they want to force down our throats. Because like we ain't getting it. Right? We ain't getting it. They alone getting it. They alone getting it. They alone getting it. And we saw some of our students showing solidarity with these students who would have lost their lives there at the Mahdia Secondary School Girls Dormitory. For instance, we see the students at St. Joseph's High School. They have a board of condolences and they're, making little notes there. It's a tremendously sad day in the history of our nation. And folks, I'm only talking to you about 6 school fires. There've been other fires. Don't we talk about Fire Nation? The whole Brickdam police station headquarters went up in flames. Has anybody been held accountable to date for that? But we keep giving the PPP a free pass. We keep giving the PPP a free pass. A free pass. We keep giving them a free pass. And this is the reality. This is madness. This is madness. How much more could one country take? Last week, a major jailbreak on their watch. A major jailbreak. On their watch, we're dealing with that, we're dealing with this. How much more? Guyanese at home and abroad, to thine own self be true. How much more? How much more? How much more? When is your children and my own, perhaps? How much more? Simple question. How much more? I don't know about you, but I fed up. I fed up being fed up. Fed up being fed up. That's where I am. Fed up being fed up. How many more? How many more? I was telling you, this is our 6th school fire as a nation in 3 years. Chase Academy, August 2020. North Ramveld Multilateral School. That school is now being rebuilt. Now, after tremendous pressure. June 2021, the North Ramveld Multilateral School went up in flames. September 2021, the Northwest Secondary School in Mabaruma. July 2022, St. George's High School. January of this year, the Christchurch Secondary School. January of this year. January of this year. Now we have the Mahdia Secondary School, the girls' dormitory. May 2023. That's the facts. That's the facts. And that is just schools. The entire Brickdam police station was razed to the ground. The fire station around the corner. Now they're moving the fire station and carrying it further. Father have his mercies. The fire station was less than 5 minutes away. Now they're moving it and carrying it much further now. It's the facts, folks. You might not like it, but it's the facts. And facts are stubborn things. It's the facts. Chase Academy, North Ramveld Multilateral, Northwest, St. George's, Christchurch, Mahdia, is the facts. Families lost sons and daughters in this fire. I saw a mother inconsolable. She lost twins. And you heard Deputy Mayor of Mahdia told us, Deputy Mayor of Mahdia, Joanne Burrows, I was trying to get the name correct. She heard screams and could see children being burnt alive. You think you're going to forget it tomorrow for flag raising? What is the point? What is the point of us having all of this money, all of this wealth, if it ain't doing nothing for us? What is the point of it? It's like the more money we get, is it more dotage? Is it more punishment? What is the point, Jack Dio? What is the point, Irfan Ali? What is the point, Priya Manik Chan? What are you going to tell these people, children? How this place lock up more tight than Mazaruni prison. What are you going to go and tell these people, children, why the dorms lock up more tight than Mazzaroni prison? What are you going to tell them? What are you going to tell them? Which minister will do the honorable thing and resign? Huh? Will it be Robeson Ben? Will it be Priya Manik Chan? So you tell me we are going to lose 20 children and life just goes on. Life just goes on. That's what you're going to tell us. And I'm talking to you, members of the public. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. So that more children got to write on more blackboards and so on. Is that what we're going to do? Folks, I think we see all we need to see with this regime. That is the dormitory. As daylight descended on Mahdia. I saw some of these guys. I don't even want to show the pictures. Prime Minister Mark Phillips in the charred remain of the buildings. What are you doing there? Have the forensic people gone through there as yet? What are you doing there? What are you doing there? They don't miss a moment for a photo op. Lives perish in that building. An investigation needs to be carried out. They're walking through the whole thing. Probably contaminating the scene. 6 schools in under 3 years. 6 schools. 6 schools. I saw Irfan at Ogle. We showed the footage. At one point, Irfan telling somebody, are you the RHO or the ROHO, Regional Health Officer, the RHO? Go there. I mean, that's what has to happen in this country. They don't like systems. They don't like systems. And a whole pack of them going to go and pack up. They're doing nothing. But you're going to tell those people about how we lost their children. What are we going to tell those people about how we lost their children? What are we going to tell them? What are we going to tell them? What are we going to tell them? Priya Manik Chan, at this point, has to do the honorable thing. Has to do the honorable thing. We lost 20 children on her watch. How many buildings have we lost on Ropes and Ben's watch? Both of them should resign. Both of them should resign. We have had the most fires in this nation's history under this administration. And in the last 3 years, it has been fire after unrelenting every day. This will probably be the worst in our nation's history. And you tell me no head ain't gonna roll? It should begin with the Minister of Public Security, because he has purview over the fire service, and all this browser gun here and browser gun there and all kinds of foolishness. Fire tenders being used to wash down the road for local government election. And when the real purpose comes for them to be used, you find them wanting. When the real purpose for them to step up, right? Look out for it. You can see Robeson inspecting next week. By next week time, photo ops, he inspecting the fire service operations in Mahdia. Look out for the photo ops. You can see some fire servicemen line up and he inspecting the guard. But when it comes real time for them to step up, they're not protecting our people. A set of fancy talks. Oh, transformational development. But when you really need them, then there. Oh, look at what is happening. You think the parents that grieving here came with big building and wharf and all of that? Yeah? And we know they don't care about us. We only got to look to the Exxon Mobil decision out of the High Court. How they're fighting for Exxon. How they're fighting for Exxon. They talk about how much they love and they care. But this is the reality. We only got ourselves in all of this. We only got ourselves in all of this. We only got ourselves. I don't talk what I had to talk. Who vex? I don't say what I had to say. Who vex? What are we going to tell these people who entrusted their children to us? What are we going to tell them? In the name of God, what are we going to tell them? What are we going to tell them? What are we going to tell them? See that? His sister or sisters, they ain't coming home. They ain't coming home. We, the lucky ones, we'll have a chance to hold our young ones close tonight. You see? But his sister, his cousins, they ain't coming. They're not coming. Just saw a photograph on social media. Young lady, she whole face born off. She whole face. Right? And the mother said she's in so much pain. She can't even mourn for her cousins that died in the fire. She's in so much pain. She can't even mourn for the cousins. Can't even mourn for the cousins. Folks, that's going to do it for us at this end. Until our next broadcast, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining the podcast today. Share the live, folks, that others get valid, credible information. And the time the government taken to harass the opposition, focus on what should be priority. Focus on what should be priority. Focus on what should be priority. You see? Focus on what should be priority. Focus on that. All right? Why? I know we just rack up the whole local government election. Just rack up the whole local government election. You not go down the road wisely. Go down the road wisely. Folks, that's our time. That's our program. Mavis Davis, well, we see you there, and Edward and Ingrid, Andrew, see you there. Raul, Elizabeth, Samuels, Elizabeth Norine, saw you on the live earlier. Shirlene, Juice Tendry, Dolly Anderson, Nyon Harding, we see you as well. Kenrick Higgins, Donna Joseph, we see you there too. All you other folks, we're trying to scroll by and see who's on with us. Kenrick, Donna, Ingrid, Gary Greenwich, we see you as well. And out front part, Samo Williams, Gwen Anderson, we see you. We're going to see you guys again in our next broadcast. All things being equal. Stay safe, folks. Stay safe.